क्योंकि खुदा ने दुनिया से ऐसी मोहब्बत रखी कि उसने अपना इकलौता बेटा बख्श दिया, ताकि जो कोई भी उस पर ईमान लाए तबाह न हो बल्कि हमेशा की जिंदगी पाए।
Every time I visit India, I realise how fortunate I am. Here I am in my study, surrounded by hundreds, thousands of books, new and old. Every time I want to write a talk or look up some subject or learn something new or deepen my faith, here are great resources to help me. Yet if you're a pastor in India and you speak only Hindi, you have none of this. This would just be a dream. In fact, the only book you have is the Bible, and this is the translation done by William Carey over 200 years ago and still used today. Over 500 million people live in North India, the majority speaking Hindi. Yet there are no evangelical resources in this language, no commentaries, no concordances, no books on theology. Of course, many pastors can speak English, but the real growth in the Indian church is not coming just from within the cities. Most North Indians live in villages like this one, called Indrapurva, in the region of Chandoli. Chandoli is situated about 2 hours from Varanasi, a large city in the state of Uttar Pradesh. The village is reasonably small, and everybody who lives there is a Dalit and untouchable. Most will never leave the village, let alone the area, and most adults have little or no education. Yet there is a growing church and a pastor to feed the flock. The pastor's name is Patihar. His level of education is what we would call basic. His reading ability is about the same as that of a year 7 or 8 child in this country. But why should he not also be a great pastor? In fact, he is a great pastor. This village does not need a seminary-educated doctoral student. He would never want to go there, and even if he did, he would never get on. This village needs Patihar. And Patihar needs resources written in simple Hindi, very simple Hindi. This is the project that the Delhi Bible Institute have taken on. So far they have translated Christianity Explored into Hindi and are midway through translating God's Big Picture by Vaughan Roberts. But they are still finding that those books, though simple to us, are too complex for Patihar. That's why they asked me to write a book about systematic theology, a book that would be very simple and use a very small vocabulary, but would cover the main things Christians need to know about God. And this is it. It's been kept deliberately short so it can be produced cheaply, and so it's not too large for these simple men to digest. In India it can be produced for around 15p a copy once it's been translated. It's written in simple English, so it can be translated into simple Hindi. Let me give you an idea of how it sounds. This is the section that describes God as being eternal and immortal. Another way that God is different from us is that he has always existed. Even before he made the world, God was there. There was never a moment when God, Father, Son and Holy Spirit was not living. And there will never be a moment when he is not living. Our lives are ruled by time. Our days last 24 hours. An hour has 60 minutes and so on. But God is outside time, because time comes from the way the earth turns, and God existed before he made the earth. However far back you could go, you would always find God living. However far forward you could go, you would always find God living. All of us start off as babies. We grow and develop. Then at some point we will die. That's the same for every man and woman. But it is never true for God. He is always alive. You can help with this project. We're going to produce some translation copies of the book. They are at the printers at the moment and will be here next week. In these small numbers it costs us about £2 to produce in English. But we're going to sell you this book for either £5, £10 or £20. If you pay £5 for the book, you will get the book, and also sponsor the translation and production of 5 Hindi copies. If you pay £10, you will fund 15 Hindi copies. If you pay £20, you will fund 35 Hindi copies. So please remember your brothers and sisters in India. Remember how much God has given you, and thank God that we can help them in this supremely practical way. So be a part of the exciting way the Church is growing all around the world.